Hey, you guys. Yeah. All right, so welcome to Twintuition Tuesday. We are a teeny bit late, but we here. I meant to take a picture beforehand. Oh well. Go maybe take one real quick right here. Hey, B, thanks for the love. All right, you guys. So today we're going to be talking about body wisdom. Again, yesterday we talked about it a little bit. Hey, Pamela. I was going to take a quick picture of us, but we can do it afterwards. It looks so bright in your glasses. I had on my glasses, or I was going to put on my glasses today too, the black ones, but oh well. Hey, Pamela. All right, you guys. So today we are continuing talking about the body wisdom. I started to put a better title, you guys, but this is interesting too. So here's the deal. Talking about body wisdom, it's not necessarily popular, right? There are plenty of people who probably rather learn about their car than actually pay attention to the wisdom in their body. And that is amazing, right? Because we use our car to get around, but what do we use more than our car to get around?
Our body.
Our body. Yeah, so our body is literally the vehicle for our entire life, so it's important to connect with it. So even if you were just watching the episode yesterday, you were able to connect with your body more than most people do on average. So even just tuning in yesterday gave you an opportunity to connect with your body more. And the thing is that why it's important to connect to your body is because we actually learn to not pay attention, right? So our body actually gives us a lot of different clues, and sorry, I have some notifications coming up. I can see your eyes go there. But our body is always communicating with us. And it always gives us clues when something is going, before I get a cold, you guys, I can tell before I get a cold because I know usually my eye is itching, and sometimes I'll even feel like a little more congested. Then can you usually tell when you're about to get a cold?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, well, you can usually tell before you get a cold. You okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You're having that frown brow thing again.
Oh, I don't mean to do that.
The camera is actually right there today. So you guys, when it comes to listening to the body, our body actually gives us a lot of clues about what's going on, and so we can actually take action ahead of time. So that's one main reason why it's important to connect to the body. But remember, we talked about yesterday what health actually means. And health has the root word heal. And to heal, health actually means to bring together. So even when we talk about what we used yesterday as like a wound or a broken bone that heals, it comes together. And so in the body, as we're able to reconnect to our bodies in a more natural way, we get to benefit more from our own body's natural wisdom. So that means we're just more natural in everyday life. And I want to talk to Marla today about body wisdom because I thought that really, like, thinking back, you guys, one of the reasons why me and Marla are doing this series, this is Marla and I am Carla.
Hello.
And this is my 365 Live series. I'm just a talker. You guys, the 365 Live is making me talk way more than usual, so I'm just going. But basically, the whole reason why we are doing this series is because we wanted to talk about wellness and be able to bring a different perspective to higher level wellness. Because what I realized 12 years ago when Marla had a mental break was that I didn't know much about mental wellness. And as I looked around, I noticed that a lot of people don't have, we don't talk about mental wellness. Mental wellness is not something that you see normally. We see a lot of people stressed out, high strung. We see a lot of people with low self-esteem, low confidence, and highly disconnected from, being fully here. And so stuck in worry, stuck in the past. So we really wanted to come together and start bringing awareness to what it really means to be mentally well, and also start talking more about the highest levels of wellness. Because if we can be striving for the highest levels of wellness, or at least have our sights on it, it's a game changer. It will completely change the mental health industry, and it'll completely open up humans to more of our potential. So Shirley says, hey ladies, I've been watching since you all started. I'm thoroughly enjoying the series. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yep, it's cool.
Thanks, Shirley.
Yeah, that is good. And it is good. I love hearing that too. You guys, I've heard that before too, Marla, from a couple other people, but it is good. So thank you for sharing that. I think everybody who ever wants to do something in the world, they want to know that there's somebody out there. I think internally we know that if we want to do something, somebody is going to benefit from it, but it's always nice to hear, you know? Isn't it, Marla?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so Marla, I wanted to talk to you today about some of the signs that I noticed before Marla had a break. But you guys, here's the thing. I didn't really know I didn't know. I'd never known anyone that had any type of breakdown or anything like that. I didn't know anything about paranoia. I didn't know anything about schizophrenia. But there were definitely some things that started happening before that I could have been more aware of. But again, it was so normal. It was so normal that I didn't really notice it. You know, some of the things just seemed normal to me, something that other people would say. Like I can remember in retrospect the first time she had paranoia, she was actually talking to me, and I remember exactly what she was saying, and I just was like, okay, yeah, whatever. And I was blowing it off because it's just so normal for someone to be paranoid that someone is talking about them. I just didn't even realize it, you know? So, but if mental wellness was more normal, maybe it would have stood out, okay? So, Marla, I feel like there were a couple instances where there was definitely something that had I been paying attention, had I known what to look for, maybe, if mental wellness was more prevalent, maybe it would have stuck out. But do you feel like there was anything that happened before tell us a little bit about what was happening before the actual break?
I was feeling like someone was talking with me. My soulmate was talking with me in my mind. You were saying I was in my room with my door closed a lot. I don't remember that exactly, but that could have been happening. So I don't really know what all to say.
So at the time we were roommates, and I remember distinctly, and I only remembered this, you guys, after I was in Costa Rica, and I had gotten not one, but two, had gotten a sty on my eye. It went away, and then I got another sty on my eye. And it was kind of gross, but typically I only would get those if I was having an allergy reaction to something. And so there was a time when I can remember distinctly when I got one in Costa Rica, and it went away, and then I started getting another one, and I was like, hey, why? I wasn't having, and it forced me to remember that right before Marla's break, she had a sty in her eye that wouldn't go away. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yeah. You didn't mention it when I asked you about what was happening before.
Oh, I was thinking that you're talking about something else, not exactly, even though we're talking about body wisdom, not exactly something happening with my body.
Ah, okay. Yeah, Marla. So, do you remember anything about that dye on your eye?
It was on my left eyelid. It was really a chalazion, is what I think it's called. And I got it removed, and so that's pretty much it. It was there for about 5 months. I didn't really like that it was there, and I felt like that people would see it and they wouldn't say anything about it. And it was good to get it removed.
Yeah. So she had to get it removed. I don't know. What's the difference between a sty and a chalazion?
I don't know, but I know it's called a chalazion is what I had. It could be considered a sty too, but...
Okay. I can remember when I was thinking about it at that time when I had it, because it was like, I wouldn't have even thought about it if I had one, and then I had one again. And it was at a time in my life too where I was having a lot of just stressful arguments with my partner. And so when that happened, I was thinking, like, I wonder if this is stress related, or I wonder if this is something related to the body that, you are ignoring. And a lot of times we will have little things pop up in the body, And it's so normal that we're so disconnected from the body and so disconnected from ourselves that we won't even notice it. A lot of people we can hear that and say, yeah, I've done that before, or I can remember plenty of times when I would have a client that would get sick over and over again. These are signs. If you have to say get something removed, or like I had 2 in a row, it's this thing saying, hey, pay attention to your body. Something's going on, and it's also a lot of times very symbolic. So anybody that knows anything about the chakras in yoga knows that the eyes are closely related to wisdom, intuition, and a deep knowing and understanding, because it's also associated with the third eye. And so I was just floored when I was talking. I actually had a coach at the time, my intuitive coach, and I was asking her about it because it just popped into my mind to ask her, and I asked her about it, and she didn't really go into it, but then I did some research around it. And a lot of times if we have issues with the eyes, it can be related to blocked knowledge, blocked intuition, blocked wisdom, or just not necessarily tuning into wisdom, which obviously, if you have something going on with your body and you're not paying attention to it, you are connected to your body in order to notice that. So that is it. You're connected to your body. Your connection to your body, that is your life suit. This is the thing that carries us around. And what I feel like is so interesting right now, especially since the shift is here, is that I think a lot more people are just called to pay attention to our physical wellness, especially with COVID, how hard it hit with so many people here. And it's lingering here because we just have such disconnection with the body in the West that it's something that is really starting to show up and be so obvious that it can't be ignored. So anything like that, when it pops up, I find it so fascinating. So anything else, Marla, around having that chalazion with your eye, do you remember particularly?
I remember I was getting upset a lot, and crying and getting upset a lot about not being able to find like a job, and so I was upset about that. And I was rubbing my eye one night. I think that's what did it, was rubbing my eyes really hard. But I wanted to say it's on the upper eyelid is something to help explain what it is. I don't know what's the difference between a chalazion and a sty, or if there is a difference at all. But this was on my upper eyelid. Was yours on your upper eyelid?
It wasn't deeply in the up. Oh, I see what you're saying. It wasn't deeply up. I think it was. Okay. Well, I don't know. Maybe it was I can't remember, you guys, the actual, but it is unattractive. I can remember being like, oh my gosh, I can't. Even then, I was doing a lot of Facebook Lives I had a fitness group then too, and I wouldn't want them to see sometimes I'd be like, I can't come on today. I'm just going to pop in a recording. Because I didn't want them to see because it's unattractive. But the thing is that, there are the connection between our bodies and our minds and things that go on in our environment it's inextricably linked. But it's interesting even to hear her tell that those things that she was just saying with her not being able to find work and crying a lot, because I think that also went hand in hand, you guys, with her always being in her room and not really talking to me as much. So at the beginning, if you were here, she said that she didn't remember that. But she was in her room a lot. We were roommates at the time, and it was like she almost just disappeared. I would talk to her all the time, and then she kind of wasn't available to talk to anymore. There are a lot of things that happen in our lives, and we consider it to be disconnected, but it's not. I've had so many clients, too, that wanted to work out, but then work was too much. Or they wanted to eat healthy, but they couldn't because they're too busy. All of that stuff is connected. All of that stuff impacts your mind, your body, your wellness, and it's just wild to pretend that it's not connected. And especially for her, I know she was already doing work that she was, really engaged in. She's a writer. And so I can remember feeling like, oh no, she can't find work. She can't do what she loves to do. I remember being worried that she wouldn't want to stay living there, but that was like the least of my worries, as I found out later on. Because she had just moved there, she couldn't find work, doing what she loved to do, what she was already doing in, where were you doing? Were you in Alabama? Mm-hmm. She was already in Alabama. She was a writer there. She had moved to Virginia. And you guys, I was worried that she wasn't going to want to stay there because she couldn't find the work that she wanted. But that's another thing with body wisdom. Our bodies there's so many little ripple effects that it's easy to underestimate, but they're important. I just want to read a couple of comments because I see some things popping up. Hi, Nicole. Hi, Nicole. Coming in late. Hey, Mary. Sherry says, definitely. I've slowed down to try to make sure I'm paying attention. So important to be able to pay attention to the bodies. The body is always communicating. Yesterday we talked about just some of the things that a lot of people take for granted. Like our body tells us when we're hungry. Our body tells us when we're full, when we're scared, when we're excited, when we are inebriated, even when we're turned on. Our body communicates in this way, and a lot of judgment can go into suppressing those emotions or suppressing those sensations when it's just natural. It's just natural for our bodies to communicate in that way. And it actually is quite fascinating to just acknowledge it and not suppress it. But just those little things, yesterday we talked about how powerful it is to have shame or judgment around those things. Specifically, if you have an eating disorder or if you have any type of disordered patterns around those things, it can be a lot of ripple effects happen when we try to suppress, ignore, and we feel shame around our body's natural sensations and wisdom. Okay, so I just wanted to read a comment that was down here. Okay, it says, okay, it's amazing how internal issues manifest externally. That's why it's so important to pay attention to our bodies, no matter how insignificant it seems. Yeah, that's so true. And I can remember when she had that sty or chalazion on her eye, I didn't think it was a big deal. I actually didn't really think that much about it, but I remember it not going away and thinking like, oh, wow, I had never heard of anybody having a chalazion. Did you ever hear of anybody having theirs removed? And I can remember like, why is she having to get it removed? But I just kind of, blew it off because, and then literally, how long after that, Marla, was it that you had your break?
Not long. Actually, the person that removed it was a part of my, part of what I was experiencing.
Okay.
Doctor.
Do you want to talk about that? Or let me read Mary's question and then you can talk about that if you want to. It's amazing how linked body, mind, spirit are connected. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's really powerful too to do work that we love. And if you're already doing work that you love, it goes hand in hand with the whole rest of your system working together and in harmony, right? Because as soon as we start doing something that we don't like or we're not able to express ourselves in a very natural way by doing the things that come naturally to us, that is another disconnection from the body. It's a disconnection from what is most natural and what is the most healthy way to express, right? It will be the same as us taking, say, a flower that's growing in Florida and then trying to plant it in Boston. It's not going to do very well, right? Doesn't that make sense that a flower from Florida, or even just, an organism that lives in Florida, those big hairy spiders, just not going to do the same if they lived in, say, Boston, right? What they are used to doing, what comes most naturally to them would be cut off and blocked. So that is something that's so important, to do work that is healthy for the body, healthy for you. Nicole says, I understand about disconnecting or checking out. Still happens to me, especially if I have an intense, challenging day. I don't know, I will recall in the next day or side effects of the brain injury. So you guys, when it comes to body wisdom, it's also really normal in our culture to dismiss it as not important. But what I started to notice when I saw that with Marla was how important all of it. I started to realize that there was really a larger thing going on that I was actually being able to see. Like I started to really take more seriously my own purpose after that. A lot of you guys know I started my YouTube channel after that, and I left human resource. I didn't go back to human resources after I lost my HR job. I told you guys about that. And I just started to look more ways to be more authentic in life. I started to see how powerful it is to actually be in alignment and actually live a healthy lifestyle. It's huge. It's so big. I have dealt with eating issues, and it starts mentally. Even though for most people eating is natural, it has been a challenge in my work life. Yeah. I saw that a lot, you guys, when I was doing a lot of health and fitness coaching, that a lot of people had trouble eating at work. So, yeah. Okay, Centra says she's had more than one and had to get it removed. That, you guys, so any issues with the eyes usually has to do with blocked wisdom, blocked intuition, and, or just, very obvious, it's very clear, right? Failing to see, like not able to, clearly see and be able to tap in. So it's kind of like cut and dry. But Marla, did you want to share anything else around that stuff?
I feel like I was not really seeing clearly. I was being adamant about someone being my soulmate, and it wasn't going well. And then when I got the Shalazian, is around that time I was doing that. So,
yeah. Mary, it is really stressful to do work that is not natural for you at all. It's almost like a denial of your talents, and so that's another way to be disconnected from the body. Like your body is here to do work that you love, and right now it's something that a lot of people take as something that's light, airy-fairy, or they don't think it's important because they think, oh, it's more important to pay the bills, or it's more important to make sure XYZ is done. But in the big scheme of things, those are things that you're not going to remember. Like once you move on with your life, and that just doesn't make sense in terms of how everything actually works in life. Like how we get new ideas, how Facebook even exists, how iPhones exist. It just doesn't really make sense in the big scheme of life, is that you're just here to check boxes and then not pay attention to what you actually do really well naturally, or what really feels natural for you. So I think we're already starting to see a big change in that. We're seeing a lot of things, shift and change, and we're only going to see things shift and change more with a big shift. Anything you want to add in addition, Marla, with body wisdom? Anything that you want to say in closing? Because I think we're going to start wrapping it up.
I do agree that there is, some benefit to paying. There is a benefit to paying attention to your body, paying attention to things happening with your physical level of, experience or existence. And, trying to find a connection between that and what's happening in your life.
Yeah. It's so much bigger than us. And a lot of times what I notice is that we have a very small perception of ourselves and like what we are here to do. And it almost ends up being just extremely myopic, where we just think, okay, I just have to do XYZ and I'll be safe. And that's natural. That's also natural because our brain and our mind wants to protect us. We don't want to be in danger in any way. And survival mode is something that kept us alive for a lot of years. And survival mode is something that every organism has. But survival mode is not going to get us where we're going. So have you ever heard that what got you here won't get you to where you're going? That is so very true. And that's one main reason why we're experiencing this huge shift in consciousness, is that we have to shift away from worrying about our very small safety to be able to see our place in the really all meant to work together. So us being able to be a healthier individual is going to help us to be a healthier culture and society at large. And so that's something that we're all going to be called into paying more attention to as we shift and as we evolve. And it's very natural. You know, we used to say things like it took a village to raise a child. So we'll see kind of some of that change coming back again. And you kind of can already start to see it because, you know, if you're only worried about your own little having to just survive, then it's going to be hard to contribute your gifts to a larger community to be able to really show up and do what you're here to do. And so I think it's cool too that we get to be alive at this time and start to think of our existence as not something that's just here to survive and pay the bills, but something that actually contributes to the shift, that's something that actually contributes to evolution, that contributes to everybody else around us. Even something, if it happens and it's really bad, it can be good because it can wake people up to our amazing body, can wake us all up to what's possible for mental wellness, and we can talk about it and we can do something that makes it bigger than us. And so making something bigger than you is huge. It's important. It's very important right now as this shift is unfolding. It'll continue to, but we all play a role in this. And some of it is literally probably something that you're thinking about right now. It's no mistake that you'd be watching this. But yeah, so we definitely are you still liking this, Marla?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You were kind of quiet today, so I was like,
oh, I don't mean to be quiet today.
okay. I twisted her arm talking about body wisdom, but so I kind of asked her about this topic because like I said, you guys, I was seriously, when I realized, I was so fascinated with it. And so thanks for talking about it, Marla. And you guys, thanks for hopping on and showing up in the comments because it helps us to, you know, to engage with you. And Marla likes the comments too, so yeah, so that's cool. All right, you guys, we are hopping off. Have an amazing rest of your night. Definitely practice connecting with your body and start to pay attention to when you have those emotions that make you want to ignore your body or suppress your sensations that are just natural, and our bodies are always trying to protect us. Even when it's something like what happened with Marla, you know, the Shalazian, our bodies are always trying to communicate and protect us and help us to be healthy, to be well. And so our bodies have the survival thing down. So maybe we can loosen up the grip on the survival thing so we can all contribute to the greater good and do some amazing things with our lives. All right, guys, I'm hopping off today.
Bye.
Bye. I will see you tomorrow on 365 Live. I do have Mind Body Bootcamp opening for November. So if you're interested in that, it's a holiday themed one. Just message me and we can get you set up. Otherwise, I will see you tomorrow. All right.